Good morning, evening, afternoon, and all that in between. I am Cyborg.
And Bumblebee.
And we're going to be talking about
Absolute Wonder Woman issue number 7.
This pretty much goes back to when Hades dragged her back to the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's fighting for her life. Not really, but
she kind of, sort of.
She's fighting.
The issue starts out with her as a child running around and stumbles upon Persephone, and she befriends Persephone. Persephone tells her how sometimes trees do grow in hell.
This is true. Not much, but this is true.
Every now and again.
Pause. I will say I do like the nod to Greek mythology heavily here.
Mm-hmm.
It is very, very good. Continue.
And she mentions pomegranate seeds. And then we
Pause. Now, those of you who are really into Greek mythology, you will understand the pomegranate seeds. Those of you who are new to it, I will explain a little bit later.
So that happens in the past. And then we cut to present day, and Diana is in an arena fighting, I guess, Hades' chimera.
Correct.
And while everyone is watching, observing, Hades and Persephone are up there, and her mom is there as well, watching her fight.
Tied up, of course, but yeah.
And, she's doing a good job. She's fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Hades is like, I was thinking about making it so that there would be no magic allowed in the arena. And Persephone's like, I don't think you want to do that, because when she beats your chimera with one arm, then you really gonna look
you really gonna look stupid.
Which just, goes to show that she thinks she's gonna win.
They know.
She knows.
They know. They know. Oh.
And then it cuts to the past again, and we see that Circe is praying, wanting to help, or she wants to get Diana out, and she's trying to figure out how to do that. And who does she talk to?
I can't remember, but somebody who is the god of order.
Oh no, Hecate.
Oh, never mind then.
And Hecate pretty much says that Diana's going to escape twice. The first time is going to be a temporary situation, and the second time is going to be more permanent. You don't need to do anything. Everything is going to be in place, essentially. Like, you don't need to try to figure out a magical way or try to put things in order. Things are already in order. She's going to get out twice.
Yeah.
The first time she got out, the start of this story, of this series, is when she was out the first time, and she got dragged back. And when she gets out again, it's going to be a more permanent situation.
Yeah.
And Hecate pretty much tells her, there's a story that I want you. There's a story. And the story is the lady or the tiger. It's pretty much becomes the bedtime story that she reads Diana in preparation.
Correct. Now,
for whatever's coming in the future.
I could be wrong, but I do think this is an indie story, because like I said, I could be completely wrong on this.
The Lady and the Tiger?
Yes. It could be an Indian story, or it could be no, I think it is straight Indian. Yeah, I think it is. Mm-hmm. But continue. Either that or Chinese? One of those.
It's something.
Yeah. It's a good story. Basically on the lines of the guy has to choose which door to go through to basically get to his love, or
not even. He has to choose his fate.
Yeah. So it's either the tiger or a princess. Now, his love, the one who nods to which door to go through, noticed that it was the princess who was in the other door.
It was a previous lover of his or something.
Yeah. She didn't like that.
Mm-mm.
Now, she nodded to a door. No one knows which door she nodded to. Now, in movies, it was always towards the girl. But I think in one iteration, it was a tiger, and he had already either befriended or the tiger was put to sleep in some way. And he gained his freedom and was able to marry his actual love, which I like. It was a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. Continue.
No, you're good. That's pretty much, in present day, she's fighting the Chimera, and in the past, at this point in the past, her mom is telling her the story.
Correct.
And that's pretty much what you've summed up.
Yeah.
And she didn't get it at first because the story kind of ends, and the story doesn't tell us which door she indicated for him to go to.
No, it will never indicate the actual door, but it's so good because it's like you have to think about what's going on, what's really happening in the world, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I like stuff like that. It's pretty cool. But let's not drift off from it. Well, drift too far into it. Let's get back to the story. Bumblebee.
Mm-hmm. So over the years, Cersei is telling this story to Diana over the years of her growing up in hopes that she'll understand in the end. A few years later, after the first instance, she still doesn't understand what the story is about.
Pause. I just thought about it.
What?
The reason why Cersei was telling her the story.
Yeah, Hecate told her to read this to.
And what's going on right now.
I know. That's the whole point.
It just popped to me because I was so focused on the actual story.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
It was their way of preparing them for what was happening, or what's happening in present day with her fighting the Chimera in the arena.
Yeah, I was not prepared for that. That's pretty cool.
Diana tries to reason with the Chimera, and it's like, I don't want to kill you, but the Chimera is fighting its all. So Diana is, forced to fight for real. And then we jump back again, and Diana realizes that, hey, in the story, I'm not the princess. I am not the princess in the story.
No, she is not.
She's the guy that has to make the choice between the two doors. But we'll get to that in a second. So Diana takes out the Chimera. She doesn't want to. She pretty much took it. What's the word I'm looking for? The Chimera is pretty much knocked out. And before Diana does the killing blow, she tries to reason with Hades and tell Hades, like, I don't want to kill her. I don't need to kill her. The fight is over. And Hades is like, nah.
One of you will leave.
Yeah. Only one of you leaves this arena alive. So Diana is forced to kill the Chimera.
Which I think that is complete and utter nonsense, but in the worlds of the gods, that's how it has to be.
And then Diana does some praying to the goddess Themis of justice. Mm-hmm. Diana's telling Hades that he's no god, he's no lord, he's a warden of a prison.
Which is not the best thing you should say to a god. I'm just saying.
And, he's kind of pissed off and...
Kinda?
But
no, you're not going to run past that. You said kinda?
He's pissed off. But Diana...
He is raging right now.
But Diana has the power of Hecate and Themis running through her because of his unjust ways, and she fights back.
Yeah, she really do.
At the end of the day, she's telling him, and he's like, you know what? Fine. Pick your door. So she has to pick a door. He said one door leads to your freedom and one leads to your death.
Hence where the tiger and the princess comes in at.
And, the mom is up there. So Cersei's up there, and Cersei indicates with her head
also
which door to go to.
The love is telling her, this is the door you'll be safe, or this is the door that I made work for you. Mm-hmm. Either way, your safety comes first, basically.
Oh, and he says, once you open the door, you can't come back. pretty much. Like you can't come back
Now, did he say once you open the door or once you walk through the door? Let's make sure on that.
Well, it just says that should the door you choose be the door to freedom, you will be barred from coming back to the underworld. You will lose, and pretty much Cersei and Diana won't be able to see each other ever again.
Well, that's
I don't know if it's as soon as she opens the door or when she walks through the door, but that's what's going to happen.
right.
And she opens the door that she chooses, and apparently it's the door to freedom, but she hasn't walked through the door just yet. She goes up and she frees her mom from the chains that they have, that Hades has her in. And turns out that Diana, or Persephone, gave Diana some pomegranate seeds. So now Diana has to return to the underworld for 1 month every year.
Yes.
Or she's able to. So she can't be barred from coming to the underworld.
That is correct. Now, the pomegranate seeds.
Mm-hmm.
So, in Greek mythology, there is Hades, the god of the underworld, and Persephone, the daughter of, I believe, Damiris. It's been a while since I've talked about this story, so forgive me about the misnaming of all of the gods. With that, Hades, he was so in love, and I'm talking about down bad at first sight with Persephone. Like, she is beautiful, she moves with grace, all that good stuff. So he invites her down to the underworld for a dinner, luncheon, whatever you want to call it, and offers her pomegranates.
Pomegranate seeds.
Pomegranate seeds. And she takes it, not knowing that anything that you eat in the underworld, you stay in the underworld. You do not leave. And because of that, Persephone 1 did not love Hades. She resented him, didn't want him touching her or anything like that.
Mm.
And 2, Mom, she was distraught. She was the god of harvest, I believe. Goddess of harvest.
Mm.
Nothing was growing. Everything was a barren wasteland, basically.
Mm.
So Hades struck a deal with both mom and daughter, saying, if you can stay with me 6 months out the year, I will let you leave 6 months out the year.
Mm.
The deal was made. Everybody was pretty much happy about that, which is why in Greek mythology, we have springtime to wintertime, because the wintertime is when feels sad, depressed, because her daughter's gone from her. I do love the Greek mythology feel to it. It's pretty good. It's amazing. Yes. Go on, Bumblebee.
So Diana is able to bring her mom back home. Mom is no longer in shackles. Pretty much say goodbye. I'll be back for a month when it's time for me to come do my month. And that's the end of the story. Now there's a little bit at the end, another little Diana at the end, but I'll let you guys look at that for yourselves when you pick up the book.
Yeah.
I like the little blurb at the end about little antics and things that happened that she was doing when she was a child.
It's pretty good, I will say. And the deep nod to all of what's going on is very nice.
Not gonna lie, I do like the Greek mythology aspect of everything. I like that they're very much including in all kinds of Greek mythology things that I didn't know. Like, I didn't know about the whole, like, I didn't know about the pomegranate seeds and all of that or anything.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Something very big and very interesting, I would say.
Mm.
This was a good read, and I enjoyed the whole thing. Deep dive into Greek mythology. Even if it was a small portion of it, it was still good.
Yes.
Like, I liked it. Now, if you want to read this for yourself and read along with us, I suggest you guys go to your local comic book store, check it out. If you can't, you can always check out the
DC Infinite app.
It has everything that you want to read and more. So check it out, and we'll talk later. Take care. Peace.